Jobless encouraged to pick fruit. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Well, our acting Prime Minister has made headlines. McCormack tells Jobless to turn off Netflix and go bush for work, or to pick fruit. Now, let's have a look at this, because I appreciate where he's coming from. It does seem to be an easy response. There's fruit picking jobs, go out there and get them. But the jobs, there's a few issues there, and they can be quite remote. There's one problem a lot of people have is mobility. Some people don't even have access to vehicles or the ability to travel that far. Maybe if the government made access to these things, I don't know, cheaper, like reducing car registration rates or reducing the excise that they charge on petrol, these type of things, then it might be more feasible for people to travel greater distances to work in these jobs. It's just an idea. This is the thing. So, I mean, they'll take with you from one hand and then smack you on the face with the other because it's government. And anyway, if you're unemployed, you shouldn't have Netflix. Honestly, Netflix is a luxury, everyone. I don't even have Netflix. Number one, it's crap. And there's plenty of free options on there. But if you're struggling for cash, that's a monthly expense, guys, you got to cut. Forget keeping up with the Joneses or knowing what the latest stupid show on Netflix is. I mean, come on, we got YouTube. Anyway, the acting Prime Minister has urged unemployed Aussies to turn off Netflix and go bush and find fun and well-paying jobs in fruit picking. I mean, yeah, I can see that. I think there should be a way to encourage young people to go out there and do it, maybe as a year off, summer holiday. I know a lot of international students, when I studied, they would go out there and do fruit picking. They had no problems. They enjoyed it. They liked the money. So acting Prime Minister Michael McCormack has told unemployed Aussies to turn off Netflix and get a job in regional areas. The Regional Australia Institute has identified 50,000 unfilled jobs in regional Australia, as a drop in temporary foreign workers due to the pandemic saw more than $38 million worth of fruit and vegetables rotting in Aussie farms. Mr. McCormack has told unemployed Aussies to go bush to fill the void, but shrugged off suggestions it was insulting to call the unemployed lounge lizards. Well, this is the problem. You've got your workforce now not used to traveling for work, not as in the past. There are costs associated to just impose that, and some of these jobs are pretty terrible. Okay, honestly, I think if you're unemployed and you're doing it tough, there are going to be people out there that are going to try and do work. They're going to find work however they can, but some of these jobs are pretty bad. And let's have a look at this one. So next time you see someone on the news, and this is something I shared a while ago, someone found and shared with me, you see someone on the news complaining that they can't get workers and that Australians are all too lazy. This is one reason. In the Bundaberg area, most or all of these jobs are at slave wages, and you have to live in their accommodation. What local in their right mind would do it? Now, these aren't slave wages, guys. I find that insulting. Slavery is where you don't get paid. And sadly, modern day slavery does exist and is prevalent here in Australia. I've done videos on it here, where people bring in foreign workers who don't have the same language skills or don't have the same community, will take their passports. And there's a couple here that was doing it, I think, to a Fijian woman, kept her as a domestic servant in Brisbane. That's slavery, guys. Okay? Here you still have the capacity to leave. So you gotta don't undermine some of the crap that's going on. Oh, and those people, guess where they worked? For the government. Bloody unbelievable. Anyway, back to this. I applied for a job or two back as a driver for a local farm. Shit money and 12 hours per day, every day, all year. Is that even legal? So, looking for 30 fit and healthy people to hand-pick tomatoes. Work will be done while sitting on a machine, so most of the work will be done with your upper body. First day of work will be on the October 5th unless notified otherwise. The job is a group contract work and can guarantee a minimum of $140 per day per person. So, see, this is the thing. With this fruit picking work, I had a mate who did it. He did it here in, Broccoli, when there were farms around here. He made good money, but it was pick rate. Okay, you're going to get people who are shit and who are saying, it's below minimum wage, it's so horrible. And they'll pull them out in the media, the lefties. these are people that probably don't work very hard. You got to work hard at a job like this. I wouldn't like to do it myself, but you know, if push comes to shove, you do what you have to do. So there we go. So 140 per day. Work hours are 6:30 to 3 p.m. You're required to stay in our accommodation during your employment. You must work a minimum of 3 weeks. For the applicants willing to commit, the first week rent will be free. The second rent will be halved at $70, and the third week onwards will be $130 per week, $140 per week per person. So this is the thing. They've got their accommodation there, and they want to use that as a way of reducing their labor costs because they're used to bringing people in overseas. So this job has been taken down. It's obviously, the market is going to adjust, everyone. The market will adjust to more realistic prices for employment for people. But what do you think? 140 per day minimum? What's stopping you making 200 a day? What's stopping you making 250 a day if you work hard enough, if you pick enough? So, you know, full-time, $980 per week. So about $1,000 per week before taxes and other expenses. So if you're living in the city, paying rent here, and then you're driving out there for a couple of months, well, it means you have to pay double rent. That's where it can get messy. We don't, you know, because of the border closures, the workers that move around from area to area are, well, locked up or unable to do it. So let's have a look. I'd say to those people who perhaps have done reasonably well of job seeker, who may have earned more than they could have ever dreamt of, it is perhaps to turn the Stan and Netflix off, to come to the regions where you can have a better life, he told Today. Well, so they're framing it wrong. Oh, I mean, he's not being very smart about it. I mean, maybe he should have played it up as the opportunities that are sitting in the regions. There's a green change there. You know, you're stuck at home in the city with nothing to do, no work opportunities. Come to the regions. Come to the regions. Work outdoors. You know, create opportunity. Live a life. You know, he's not the marketer. That's ScoMo's job. He described fruit picking as fun and well-paying, but said there were a range of other jobs to fill, including at doctor surgeries, in tourism and hospitality. Mr. McCormack also refused to criticize coalition backbencher George Christensen, who sparked controversy by peddling theories over voter fraud in the US. Anyway, I mean, who cares if he's discussing those issues? Have you met George? He's a unit. He's bloody big, that guy. He likes his food. And, you know, so good on him. The posts were brought into focus after last week's deadly attack on Washington Capitol building, as pro-Trump supporters violently attempted to prevent politicians from confirming Joe Biden's election win. Speaking in Mr. Christensen's Queensland electorate, the Nationals leader described him as the voice of the North. George Christensen is a free spirit. While George might sometimes push the boundaries of controversy on social media, he also sticks very much up for communities such as this one. He said, yeah, he does. You know, he's not a saint. No one's going to pretend. Seriously. You know, who is? He supports all those job creation activities through COVID. He's the voice of the North. He has been strident to ensure people in his area have a job for the future. This is surely the number one thing that an MP should do, and he's done it. Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's what you want your political leaders to do, to advocate for you. That seems to be lost. Do you get the feeling? It really seems to be lost these days about politicians advocating for the people. The Nationals leader also refused to walk back comments comparing the Capitol Hill attack to the BLM protests across the US, which he labeled race riots. The protests were sparked by the death of Floyd at the hands of the police, while an assault on Capitol Hill was widely seen as an attempt to overthrow religion. Oh, come on. Do people really think that? I think only one side of the politicians see this as an attempt to overthrow, but anyway. They're LARPing. They're ludicrous if they think they've got a chance at that. The comparison sparked outrage among human rights groups, with Amnesty International demanding McCormack be condemned in the strongest terms. The acting Prime Minister must immediately withdraw his deeply offensive comments about well, okay, good on you. But there's a lot of people in Australia that would agree. There's a lot of people in the States that would agree. You have some groups running around rioting, and still in Portland rioting. No, that's violence begets violence, guys. The media in the US has legitimized violent protests as a form of political persuasion. No one can disagree with that. Just look at what's happened. What do you think that'll lead to? McCormack said any form of violent protest was abhorrent regardless of its motives. It involves violence, it involves destruction of property, it involves deaths of people, and that's the form that is condemned. Yes, see, that's the thing. The leftists are accepting of violence if it's necessary for their own ideological purposes, and then do a flip instantly if it opposes them. I mean, it's a brilliant strategy, you know. Twitter banned Trump last week, arguing there was an ongoing crisis. Senior government minister said on Monday they were troubled by the ban. Yeah, anyway. Twitter declined to comment. I mean, with regards to all of the Trump bans, I think that will be a good thing in the long run for alternative platforms. It will force businesses to take more control of their own infrastructure and harden our social networks online. In the long run, it may be the best thing that could ever have happened. And with that, subscribe to me on Gab, Odyssey, BitChute, and Rumble. I'm making a commitment now every night to upload all my videos to those platforms. Library auto-syncs with YouTube, so you'll see them come throughout the day, but but BitChute and Rumble I have to manually do. So I do that after I've finished working for the day. So what do you think, guys? What do you think about the acting PM's calls for people to go bush? I think he's done it in a sloppy way, but honestly, it might be worth people considering. If you're stuck in the city, you got no opportunities, nothing tying you down, why are you staying? If you're young and you've got no family, no housing, none of that stuff, take advantage of it, guys. And it's the young people. If you get the intergenerational, the economic scarring, then that can lead to intergenerational unemployment. That's the scary thing. You don't want that. Anyway, let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. Please like, share, subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and want to support the content I cobbled together here, there are a few ways you can. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. Support us using our affiliate links from Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or AussieBroadband. You can buy merch from HeiseSays, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care, and I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.